Do you honestly think that I will hit the record one out of nowhere? Immortal.
Look, okay, because listen, because I'm a rambler and you're a ramble. If we ramble, we gonna ramble.
we're members of the Lawn Clan.
Nah, for real.
We're the most cursed members of the anime community. The people is like, why can't your videos just be 10 minutes? Like, we have a lot to talk about. There's no fucking way.
You know what? But somehow I've been able to cut my videos down from being 20 to 25 minutes, almost 30 minutes, down to like no longer than 13 minutes. Like my most recent videos ever since like March, they've been like in the 13-minute range or under. And I'm like really proud of myself for that.
Ooh, very nice.
By a chance, do you hate Sasuke?
Like Uchiha?
Yeah. Do you like Sasuke or you don't like Sasuke?
It's a very mixed bag with that potato.
Okay, I'm just thinking because when we were doing the Black Clover collab for A&M, there's a moment where we're talking about Yuno as a rival, and basically me and Watkins just tag teamed us trashing Sasuke. Like we tag teamed him like crazy. So that got me a video idea. Like if we want chaotic energy, it could be me, you, Watkins, and we talk about Sasuke.
I would honestly be honored if I get to talk about how Sasuke went from international terrorist to, oh no, he helped stop the travesty. What did he do? Oh, he held hands with Naruto and that's it. He then tried to kill everyone, but he's a good guy now, and everyone around should be like, oh, now let's pause and let's think about this real quick. Maybe
for real, like, listen. No, I'm just thinking about the chaotic energy that would have if it was like all three of us, and maybe we could like see if the other guys in the alliance want to do something.
Oh snap. I like how there's no context where it's like, wait, any new viewers that are watching is like, wait, Trevor's part of the alliance? What the fuck's going on? It all will be revealed in time. Don't you worry.
Yeah, like I was like low-key sweating a little bit because when we were doing the Black Clover collab, like A&M I had in a little corner the Creator Pirate Alliance, and I was like, I didn't say anything, but in my head it's like,
I thrive off of doing videos like this, and I thrive off of the toxic brood energy that I'm going to emit later, because I still have that hot take about.
Oh gosh, that's what I'm scared about. All right, I guess we should officially start.
No, are you kidding? Trevor Tiger intro is usually 30 minutes longer than this. And so the castling begins anew. That's my best intro. So this is it. We're finally talking about something new. This isn't your brother's One Piece. This isn't your sister's JJK. This isn't your dad's Invincible. This is an anime that I have been loving since season 1. It's called Vassal-Cania, a series created by cool Twitter bro Warren Ellis. And I fucking love this show. How about you, Sweet Tea? How do you like it?
Oh my gosh. So thanks for having me, first of all. And I love Castlevania. Like, I am a Castlevania stan. I've been hooked ever since season 1 premiered. And it's just it's a really fresh show. It's really refreshing, It's something that honestly we needed more of in animation. And it honestly came at the perfect time because Castlevania is paving the way for a lot of more animations to come through, especially it being a Western animated cartoon. It holds up very, very nicely. The voice acting is like superior. Like, it's just amazing.
Oh, God, yes.
And like the fight scenes, listen, if you want a good fight scene, watch Castlevania, especially season 4. But I really, really love Castlevania. I love the range of characters and the complexity behind the characters and the motivations. And we'll get more into the characters. But in conclusion, yes.
Oh man, I also want to add like the writing, the most important thing in the story, at least in my eyes. it's strong. There's many issues, which I did list out. No, don't everyone worry. The evil, toxic brood energy of objectiveness is going to be present in this. Don't you worry. But the writing is very strong for this series, all the way throughout, despite some of its flaws. And I remember in season 3 where one of the biggest complaints against the show was like, God, this show with its dialogue and its establishment of the world, what is this, Game of Thrones? And it's like, how is that bad? How?
You kind of need world building to like get things moving. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, oh no, our characters are developing something. There's goals. They're having interesting conversations. Oh, perish the thought.
I think the biggest thing that people came down from the high of season 2 because that was like a high, when
yes,
like they were fighting Dracula, and coming down from that high, everything kind of felt slow and boring, but they were just setting up stuff for season 4. But
yeah, and so season 3 is so strong. It's so good.
So I understand the criticisms behind season 3. Especially like some of those random things that happen, like the random sex scene with the fight scene, like that kind of threw me off because at one moment like people are dying and people are fucking, so it threw me off. But it was different from what they've done in the past. But like I recently rewatched Castlevania, and like at first like I had season 3 at the bottom. But after reevaluating some things, like I feel like season 3 is gonna be like above season 1 now for me. Because season 1 was still a little choppy. Like they're trying to get their animation together. They're trying to get some stuff together. But then after season 2, I feel like is when the series gets really confident in what they're trying to do.
I guess then we should like give off our rankings of the season. So since you're our very special guest, your sweet tea, how did you feel? Like this will actually be very interesting. From what were your personal favorite seasons, like from least favorite to best, and then one part B of the question is from a writing standpoint, what do you think was the strongest from like the
Okay, so season 4 just came out, and so recency, you could say recency bias, is a thing. Before season 4, it was season 2.
Oh snap!
But now that season 4 came out, season 4 is my favorite, and then season 2, and then I would say season 3 because what it puts the characters through, especially Isaac. We need a whole thing just for Isaac.
Oh, we will.
Yeah. And then I would say season 1, because season 1's like when the ball's just starting to roll, you know what I'm saying? And then from a writing standpoint, I would say it's a tie between season 4 and season 3. Ooh. The reason why I say that is because the character developments that the cast makes are astronomical, especially in season 4, when like Carmilla's council's low-key falling apart, honestly. Especially when Striga and Miranda are out there in the field actually surveying the land, and they realize that Carmilla's plans, honestly, like it's unrealistic and it's like unnecessary. Like it's not what they want for themselves. And then when Lenore questions her position, like, will they need a diplomat if Carmilla's really trying to enslave all of humanity? And then Carmilla's character was interesting too, because she kept talking about how, stupid old men, like that was her whole thing. But slowly she was turning into Dracula, and she always talked shit about Dracula, but slowly she was turning insane herself, and she couldn't see it. And she went out like a fucking queen, by the way.
Oh, that entire episode, like episode 6 was cathartic. My roommate Justin, who I pray has headphones in right now because he hasn't watched season 4 yet, he despises the Carmilla Council. He just doesn't like their characters at all, which I can get. It's very subjective of him. So when he sees what happens in episode 6 with his favorite character Isaac against Carmilla and her forces, I can't wait. I can't wait to see its reaction.
And then too, like I really want to dive into like the characters of like the main 3, Alucard, Sypha, and Trevor. Like just overall, I would say season 4, I think, is my favorite in terms of writing because of how they knew how to tie up loose ends. They knew how to tie up, well, for the most part. We'll get into some things.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, because there are some characters that just left to the wayside. But for the most part, I would say they did tie up most of their ends, and like most people with their character progressions are really, really nice. Especially with Isaac, like at first, like he's all about revenge and like he hates humanity, but like as he's traveling, to kill Hector and to kill the council and Carmilla for betraying Dracula and him, like he starts to meet humans who actually show him kindness and grace. And one line that sticks out to me in season 4 is when Isaac says, "You know what? I have agency in this world." You know,
Yeah.
and there's just in like the conversation he has with the night creature, because the night creature is asking him, "Why are you having us, bury humans when we're meant to eat them?" You know, and then when he says, "Have a berry," like
Yes.
yes, that whole scene. Isaac is a go-to character, y'all. Like he's honestly really good. But in conclusion, though, like season 4, I think is for sure my favorite in terms of writing when it comes to exploring the morality of characters, like even with Saint Germain and like what greed can do to humans, what
Yes.
greed can do to a person. There's so many different things that they developed, they went through in season 4, and they did it in a way that was compelling, because if you did it the wrong way, it would seem like too much is happening. But they did it in a way that was compelling and like really interesting too. And that's why I would say like season 4 is just very, very strong of writing. And I even told Trevor this off to the side before we scheduled this little collab, that like I have not been this satisfied by the end of a series in a long time. Ever since Game of Thrones ended, like I have not been satisfied by the end of a series, because most of them have either been like bad or meh. And I'm actually very satisfied with where all the characters end up.
Yeah, I for episode 10, like the very final episode, I had a process of like anything that stuck out that was like a criticism, minor to awful. Thank God there was only one awful moment throughout this entire season. That's how good this fucking show is. But
It really was a 10 out of 10 season. Like, well, I said 9 out of 10 because I don't think it was perfect because of those little complaints I had. But it was very good.
Yeah, episode 10 in particular was one of those episodes where, aside from the fine episodes, it was that one episode that I didn't have any issue with, and the ending almost did make me cry, just because like they get to have a happy ending.
I
they
definitely almost cried, especially for Alucard, best boy Alucard. Man.
I do find it funny that I was tempted to put it in my notes, but I allowed subjectivity to stop me from doing it. But so Dracula and Lisa are in bed together. They're sleeping next to each other in the moonlight. It's a shame that if they wake up when the sun's out and Lisa wakes up to a pile of ash next to her, they can close the windows.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Man.
Oh yes, my turn. This is where the hot takes are about to come in.
Oh no.
So
I'm gonna just be quiet and I'm gonna let you finish and just be quiet.
Oh, don't worry.
I will mute myself.
Oh, you don't have to. It's all good. I expect fully audible bursts of rage from what I have to say. So, subjectively, like the things that made me go, hell yeah, I think you and I are in the same boat where I loved how season 4 went mostly, and especially with how everything ended, because I do think the ending is just as important as the start of the series, if not the most important thing you can do with a story. Because my God, if you fuck it up, it's fucking over. Look at Star Wars, look at Game of Thrones. It was just like, oh no, what have you done? What have you done to these stories?
Yeah, and it's like you only remember the beginning and the ending. And if one's worse than the other, that's all you remember.
Oh my God, yes. So I loved season 4. Yeah, I am a sucker for that. There's a reason that my favorite Star Wars movies, number 1 and 2, are Revenge of the Sith and Return of the Jedi. I'm just a sucker for those like big conclusions. So I love season 4. Second favorite is season 2. Third favorite is season 1, and the least favorite, not to say it's bad, but just like the thing I enjoyed the least, but I still enjoyed, if that makes sense, it is season 3. However,
oh my gosh, here we go.
So when I rewatched this series in the span of a week, Um, my goal was to look at this series with fresh, objective eyes, all four of them on my face. You know, my two glass eyes and my two regular human eyes. And the process was I'm going to have a Google Doc all set up to go, and I could share it at any time. You so demon, my lady. But
You
it
can
was like,
go for it. Just
oh,
pull it out now.
oh, I will. But I wanted to do the shock value and then pull it up. So I went through whenever I found something, I was just like, huh, that seems a little contradictory to the world's rules, to the characters established, to the quality, like to the consistency of everything. I decided to jot a note down. I was like, interesting. A lot of them were like minor inconveniences. There were only like a couple bad moments throughout the whole series, and there was only one really awful part, and I think you know what's going to be referenced later. It was
With
just
the
so
fight and
bad.
fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the
Yeah.
fuck? But
Honestly, like that's why like at first season 3 was so low. Just that scene alone. The
yeah.
damage of that scene.
So in order to describe how the writing was, season 1 had like 1 page of notes. Just 1 page of criticisms. Again, they're mostly like inconveniences in terms of objectiveness. They don't destroy the story. They're just like, hold on a second, hold on. Can we analyze that a bit further? Season 2, it is the strongest series or strongest season because it was only half a page. Season 3 was 2 pages. Would you like to guess how many pages there were for season 4?
1.5.
7.
7 for season 4? Fuck.
So this is where the hot take comes in. And again, I love season 4 the most because everything with Trevor and Sypha was brilliant. Alucard started off just a little shaky, but he went back to form quickly. Saint Germain, I really loved. It was just the episode that focused on Marana and Striga. There were like many interesting little tidbits of dialogue, just like, hold on a second. And that's where a lot of the pages came from.
They seemed different from how they were presented.
Same thing with Lenore. Same thing with and I had I think a half or quarter of a page dedicated to Zamfir.
Oh my gosh!
And
I do agree with you about Alucard. I think his character was thrown off a little bit.
Yeah.
But then he got himself back together.
Quickly back to shape. And there were, I think, 1 to 2 pages focused on the suicide god pact knife. I was just like, oh, what was this knife used in the episode 9? And then I wrote down notes specifically like, okay, this is where he got it. Wait, that's where he found it? Oh, okay. The second piece he found here. Wait, what? No. And then I had a whole page about death to see. It wasn't like exactly criticism notes. It was just like, okay, so death says this as Varney, and that's what links to death. I just wanted to see how many clues there were. A lot of them were really, really subtle. And then when you hear it again, the dialogue is just like, Dracula promised us death. And I'm like, oh.
Honestly, like when I was making my Castlevania review, go check that out, by the way, it's pretty good. But when I was making my Castlevania review, and I was like pulling up clips to include in the video, I was rewatched that scene and knowing what I know now, like between like Barney and what's his face, like him talking about Varney doesn't do anything. It all makes perfect sense.
Yeah, Ratko was his name. Took me a second to remember. Ratko, the most stock Russian villain of all the casts of pretty much any anime I've ever seen, where the whole trope is it's like, I am bad guy, I am here to kill you. And he's even dressed Russian.
I'm hardcore.
Yeah, it's like, I am very hardcore. I will die in the first episode where I actually do something.
Yeah, it was getting me Salty Spittoon, but really it's Winnie Ho Jr.
And this is these are the notes that I pulled up. So just to give like examples here. I wrote down here the Archbishop wants to keep his nation in the dark about science because he implied that while Lisa was burning at the stake, and I was like, okay, that's a foreshadow to season 4 because I remember that there were rulers in season 4. And I even listed down here where Targa Vista appears to be run by the church and bishop, not by the royals, but I guess, they're still world building. I'll have to see what happens.
I think it was relative to like the times too, because honestly, the church had more power than the royals.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I was just like, it appears run, but it's still strange that we never saw the king and queen, but it's fucking whatever. Again, this is like minor shit that I noticed. The first one was Dracula traveled the world during Lisa's execution. Okay, so where was Alucard when this was happening? Was he left at the castle? Because we never got to saw his reaction to his mother dying, like the gut reaction, like him first learning about it.
And my thing is, yeah, that was something I was wondering too. And I'm like, could Alucard have prevented that from happening?
Absolutely. And then I started to think about like, now, wait a second. If he was left at the castle while Mama Lisa was in her cottage helping people and Dracula was touring, it is like, oh, they left their still child that's like 12 years old, 12 years old back at the castle. I mean, he's tough, but people kind of hunt Dracula's castle for like riches. They might try to rob it. Alucard's pretty strong, but he's only 12. He's still a child. Where was he during all of this?
You know what? I know the answer. Plot convenience.
Oh, 18 years old. I'm sorry. 18. I kept thinking of the 7-year time gap between some scenes. But yeah, it's just like,
Yeah.
I'll have to keep him there.
But basically, Alucard's just, plot convenience.
Oh, this one was like the first little oops where Dracula wants to kill all the humans since any of them could have said no, this is wrong, pretty much word for word what he said in terms of Lisa's execution. It's such a shame that the first woman he met when he got back home said that she wanted to remember Lisa and hated the church for what they did. There's that one human that said no, Dracula. You could have worded that better, mate.
Damn.
It's like the only defense I could think of is like, oh, he was just in a blind fit of rage, when he turned into a pillar of fire with eyes bleeding.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
This one was kind of funny. So Dracula was viewed as a legend throughout the first season. Not throughout the first season. And it's established that Lisa, when she visited Dracula's castle, she had to find him through like stories and legends. There was no direct map to the guy. It was like through folklore, which I like. That's a really clever take on that, where there's no Google map that takes you to Dracula. You have to like follow side quests.
And it kind of reminds me of like an introduction to the speakers, like maybe foreshadowing of like the speakers and their culture. But
exactly. Then we get to the random peasant in the tavern at the end of episode 1, at the start of episode 2, where, the goat fucker guy.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
He's like, look, the country in Greshit, it's run by the royal houses, or the great houses. And then he name drops Vlad Dracula as one of the great houses, along with the Belmonts. I'm like, wait, so he's not legend, he's established. Wait, what?
Yeah, I can see that. But I feel like maybe they did that because in season 2, we kind of see more so of like what the vampire world is like, and that there are like different vampires that rule different regions in the world. And so humans know vampires exist.
Yeah, it's just odd that this one guy, where it's just like, there are great houses, Dracula is one of them. It's like, wait, he was a great house, he's established, he's real, though there's only legends about the guy. Okay. Just, no, again, that's like one of those minor inconveniences. It's nothing world-shattering. This one is always funny. I think, oh no, almost there. Alucard's legend is that he slept under Greshit for hundreds of years, even though he's only 19 years old.
Yeah, I think it's the thing. Vampire aging, I think that's just a plot convenience. And we could just
Oh,
call some of these plot conveniences.
you can't even call it plot convenience though in terms of the aging because Lisa, like she had to give birth to Alucard. She didn't die 200 years ago. It was like 1 year ago in the show. So
I guess
I
because Alucard ages fast, and maybe in vampire years, it's 200 years to him.
well there's like I was thinking that the explanation would be like, oh, the Sleeping Soldier's home, it could have been made by Dracula originally. Like, while he traveled, maybe he could have made like a little base in each city he visited just in case something went wrong or in case he needed
Like
to
a
rest.
safe house. I think
Yeah.
that makes I think that's a really reasonable explanation for things too, because he was a traveler and he probably had to have safety measures because he can't be out and about like that in the day, he can't have people knowing who he is for real. So it would make sense for him to have like little you know, safe houses for him to be able to like maybe rest and recharge at. And that would explain too, like, like while he's traveling, how he like eventually runs into Isaac and Hector.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. Like that would have been established, but we get a different answer instead. And I also put down like that would also mean that in the chamber, like the technology and design of Alucard's private room was made hundreds of years ago. So in 1276, there were gears and mad science stuff in that secret room. I can see that as believable because Dracula had like all the true science as established in his castle. It's just like, did that exist 200 years ago?
And my
It's just
thing is too is like well how why or how would humanity forget about that technology?
yeah.
They tried to make excuses for it, but it's like realistically knowing how humans are, they would try to find some type of method of retaining that information. Like for example, fuck it, what was I fucking thinking about? Shit, I
Are
lost my train of thought.
you thinking about shit? Come on.
No, like there's a show basically where they were like they were preserving things or whatever, so they wouldn't forget. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me.
Yeah, it could be there's like this historical theory
Oh,
where
oh, I remember now. It was like it wasn't exactly the same case, but for example, it was like okay, Yasuke. It's this new anime that came out recently on Netflix, and so basically they're in feudal Japan during this time period, right? It's feudal Japan, mind you, but then randomly mechas show up. So it's like, why are they still using like fire and like primitive, quote unquote, primitive tools, but they have mechas? You
oh,
know,
that's interesting.
I have a Yasuke review coming. That's all
Oh,
I'm gonna say.
there's also
That's all.
I can't wait for that. Before I forget, there's also like a historical theory where it's like maybe back then maybe science was discovered, so anyone that practiced magic back in the medieval times, they were just kind of silently rooted out so that science could take over. That's just one theory, kind of a deep one of those iceberg theories. It's just like that could work in something like this maybe.
I think it could be a religion thing because of considering the influence that the Catholic Church had and looking at how like the church behaved when something foreign would come up, like with how they treated Galileo and other people. So that's what I think that'd be reasonable that the church wanted to get rid of that so that they could only have faith in the church so that the church can control the populace.
I didn't put in my notes because this is very in cue with the superstition, but I love how in season two, in the very first scene, when the archbishop and his cronies arrive at Lisa's house, they go into the kitchen and they see like these bottles, like these vials of blood or wine or whatever, probably medicine.
Oh yeah,
They
and they
just
move.
rotate. Yeah, they rotate and it's like, oh, it moved. Witchcraft.
I remember that. Oh man, that was funny.
Oh, and before I forget, it's like, did the technology and design of Alucard's private room in Greshit, like, if it existed, or did it get updated when Alucard went there after getting slashed through the chest by his father? Either option doesn't exactly work.
Mm,
What
yeah.
else was there? Oh yeah, the other big oof of season. What the fuck are you guys doing here? Get down. Oh wait, is it? Oh no, all my pages are misaligned. No, because I slapped it in a Google Doc and I had it on the Pages app. No, I had it
It's
much more
okay.
organized. um,
It's labeled by season. It's all good.
all right, but yeah, the bishop wants the speakers dead for bringing in night creatures, and the speakers were established being there for quite a little bit, but they won't die. They don't get the execution order until Trevor is conveniently there under the pretense of his own threat. It's like, Trevor Belmont, you have until sundown, and then the speakers will die. And it's like, wait, you wanted to get rid of the speakers the whole time? Yes. Why did you wait for me? Shut up, bitch.
Yeah.
You're excommunicate scum.
Oh
But
man, oh
that's
man.
plot convenience right there.
The next one's definitely plot convenience.
Oh yeah, this one, Trevor and Saipa, when they kill the last night creature, the ground just destroys itself. They fall through, and then as soon as they land on like the gears, they break and everything crumbles, and then they fall again, and then it's an Alucard's secret room. It's just like,
Yeah,
what?
definitely plot convenience. That's all plot convenience.
I also like this. So, do you remember in when Alucard's coffin awakens or opens up? It's because there's like a hall before the coffin, and then Trevor Belmont steps on this little switch in the middle of the room, and that's what opens up the coffin. I was like, wait, was that seriously the only way you could open up the coffin?
Like, really, what in the Indiana Jones is this?
Yeah. Like I was like, what would have been really cool would be if during the fight with Alucard and Trevor, where during the fight you can see like these quick little shots, like if you keep your eye on the background, you can see other trap switches that would open up the coffin, like little indents in the ground. So that would make a lot more sense than having just the one in the middle. But again, nothing world destroying. It's just like, that's a little interesting to point out.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this because I hate the show, by the way. Any comments that might be like, God, why the fuck is he saying this stupid shit?
Trevor just wants to be CinemaSins.
No, no.
I'm just kidding.
The main difference between me and CinemaSins is that I actually take my work seriously. And I don't hide behind the fact that, oh, I'm joking. This is all a joke, guy. No, I actually take my work seriously. I don't try to meme. I look at the details. I'm like, that works or that doesn't work, and then we can go into how it's like, it's whatever. It's nothing that destroys the story. It's nothing that ruins everything.
Y'all heard it here first. Trevor versus CinemaSins. No, I'm just kidding.
Bring it on. You know what? Let me add Cinema Wins too. He needs a good scolding. He needs a good spanking by the nanny. Oh my god. Have you ever seen his Cinema Wins Rise of Skywalker video?
Honestly, I don't really watch Cinema Wins for real. Like I've watched a couple of them, but they just don't do it for me.
He legit said for his Rise of Skywalker video, it's like, just pretend that it was the movie you wanted, and then let's just go from there.
That sounds like such a, oh my gosh. I don't understand how there are some people who can defend that movie. Like there are some people who have that movie and or The Rise of Skywalker and also who have The Last Jedi ranked above Revenge of the Sith. How?
I don't understand how.
How?
Magic. It's witchcraft. Burn.
Literally, Revenge of the Sith is like one of the best Star Wars movies.
Oh shit!
Like it is. We're not talking about Star Wars today.
You're absolutely right.
But we're not talking about Star Wars today.
I only point out the flaws of this show because I am a fan, and honestly, guys, if I was one of those fans where I didn't talk about what's wrong with it by pointing out flaws, and if I just turned into a yes man, that would be so fucking boring, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but maybe in the future we could talk about Star Wars. Maybe do a tier list. I don't know.
I would be honored to do
that. Maybe we could do a tier list. I haven't seen Solo though, but that's
oh my god, don't watch Solo.
I heard it's not worth it. Yeah, we could do a film tier list because if you included the Clone Wars and the Mandalorian, it wouldn't be fair.
Oh my god. that fucking solo movie,
All right.
it destroyed the timeline. But anyway.
Okay, I'm just gonna pretend I haven't seen. I'm gonna just not see it.
So yeah, that was my process, and that was just season one. Season one is still pretty good. I enjoy it a lot. The writing's still pretty good in many areas. Just those few inconveniences that happen, along with those that one oof. But yeah. Do you care to see the other season nodes, or do you just want to leave it at that? How do you want to proceed?
Let me see season 2 because he said he barely had anything.
Oh, yeah. So half a page, or it was half a page until Google Docs ruined it. But season 2, Adrian Tepish earned the name Alucard because how he was treated by others. And those same anonymous people called him the opposite of Dracula, hence the name Alucard. My question is, where did he get the name from? Because he's kind of secluded by everyone. And then
2
yeah.
is like his aging. Yeah.
And then there, like one of the things in season 1, it's like there are stories from the future that dictate that a warrior, a hunter, and a speaker, or no, a scholar will team up to defeat Dracula. And what's funny is that pretty much every prophecy or future story has to do with Alucard. So it seemed like a writer's way to be like, no, this is how we're going to explain this aspect of Alucard and how he got the name. It's like, from a prophecy? Yes. Okay, so where did the prophecy come from? How does that work? Magic. What? No.
Yeah, I agree. And I see the one about Brayla, and I agree, but I feel like they did that because they wanted to more so highlight Carmilla's scheming and how basically the whole castle flooded with holy water.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
Bro, honestly, that was honestly big ups to Carmilla on that. Like, you got to give credit where it's due. That was a pretty fucking good plan, but it backfired on her.
I actually do have a note on her plan, and I do like. Could you imagine if, the first time, for context, everyone, when Dracula's castle moves into a forest, like it just teleports into a forest, it gives off like a nuke, like this giant shockwave that destroys everything. You get to see forest life like deer get shredded to the bone in like milliseconds, and it's just like, whoa, holy shit! Then when it teleports into Brayla, the most damage you see done are a few bricks flying and a broom breaking in half, and no human deaths. It's like, oh.
Yeah, the damage scale didn't make sense for me. Maybe Dracula was able to scale it back. I don't know. It was not giving what they thought it was going to give.
Season 1 made sense because the first time Dracula's castle appeared, it was rising from the earth like it was from hell. It didn't teleport in with the
That
force.
shit was menacing as fuck. Okay.
So good. Love
it
that.
It was good.
But could you imagine if the nuke physics were still kept, every move that Sypha made the castle do, and the vampires flying all over the place.
Oh
Carmilla
my
was like, no! What the fuck? No! My plan! What the fuck? Waving her fist angrily in the air. Fuck you!
Curse you!
No.
But hey, schemer's gonna scheme. But like I do think, but yeah. Also, okay, Hector had no fucking backbone. We like Hector literally could have avoided being enslaved by Carmilla if he had a fucking backbone.
He could have ran. He honestly, there was that aftermath where Carmilla's like, is it nighttime yet? No, we still got 3 hours. You could have run, boy. You could have ran.
If anything, he could have gone in the holy water.
Oh
he could have swam away.
Oh my god.
Literally, he could have swam his way to freedom.
There's
he could have waded in the water to freedom.
We should also talk about like the adaptation. Now, we are judging this show by the show itself, not by like how well the video game logic is transferred over to the show and the characters.
I've never played a Castlevania game, so like I couldn't judge the
game. My knowledge goes from Castlevania 1, unfortunately Castlevania 2, and then Castlevania 3 and 4. That's where my knowledge stops. I'm not a fan of the Metroidvania style of games, fortunately. Just can't get into them. So I never got to do Symphony of the Night and afterwards. So that's where my knowledge stops. fortunately, with fans that apparently Hector in one of the Castlevania games is like a playable hero, and he still has the Forge Master title. Apparently, he's like this really cool badass. And every complaint against Hector's like, dude, they pussy whipped Hector. What the fuck?
They really did pussy whip Hector, and I hadn't even played the video games. Like I knew of them, but I never played them. And it's like literally they made Hector a bitch. Like I can't even cap. Like I don't like to say that word too much, but like they made him a bitch. They made him a pussy. Like they did. Like he was the weakest link for real. Yeah. Like he really was the weakest link. And like and then the times he could have escaped, he didn't.
Oh yeah, this one's funny. This isn't about his escape attempt. My next note was Hector agrees to invite Carmilla's forces into the castle so that in his eyes Dracula can be removed and rest. It was like one of those hard choices that Hector would have to make. It's like, yeah, I understand that it could be yeah, I understand it's going to be seen as betrayal, but I'm doing this for Dracula's good. And then he still has like the shocked Pikachu face when Carmilla says, "Look, Hector, you betrayed him." What? As he notices the vampires being massacred.
I feel like a better note would be like, Hector listens to Carmilla. It's so obvious and what she's trying to do.
Oh, just wait till season 3 when we talk about Lenore.
Oh my gosh. but literally it's like the biggest note you could have said is Hector listened to Carmilla.
Hector in general.
But like but he not built like Isaac. Literally when Godbrand tried to sweet talk him, Isaac killed him on the spot.
No, okay. Can we talk about like something everyone, myself included, when I watched season 2 for the first time, I thought Godbrand was a bitch. I thought he was worthless. Here, think though, in terms of the writing, he was actually like a very interesting and pretty well-developed character for the short time we had, because season 2 wouldn't have happened without him. He was the guy that was like bringing in the questions. He was the guy that allowed us to explore himself, Isaac, Hector a little. It was like
Carmilla, because him and Carmilla were talking, you know?
Yeah, and it's like he made a lot of season 2 strong. He was like, I think he was a pretty good character. There's another hot take. I think Godbrand's pretty good.
I will say about season 2, sometimes it was just awkward when they would say, "Oh, the whole council's arguing," but you only hear 4 characters talk. The whole council just been mute the whole time unless they're fighting. You hear them grunt. But it was just so awkward when they kept saying that. And it's like you have like an Asian vampire, you have an Indian vampire, like really interesting, like different cultural vampires, like an Arabic vampire, and they don't say shit.
Did you
even
notice?
When Cho gets a flashback in season 3,
and she still doesn't say shit.
Bro, that's one thing I definitely noticed, that they would just be mute vampires. They would just be like they would just look at each other.
The one line of dialogue that any of those 4 vampires shared, and it was only done by one guy, it was the bald guy, is when he had his skull burned off by Cypher. It's like,
oh no, the Indian vampire, she yelled. She said, "Ah!" She did yell.
Oh yes. Oh man.
When she was trying to come for Alucard and do a surprise attack, and then Alucard deflected with his sword.
With her nails.
Yeah, and it's like, and like literally, they said nothing, and it would be so awkward hearing them. Oh, the council just bickers and argues. What, in sign language?
Yeah, they grab one random hooded minion. It's like they just point violently.
They play charades. They play charades to work out debates. They debate with charades. Charades debates.
That's why Dracula knows that they're arguing, is because one room over there's just a giant whiteboard and they're just drawn frantically. It's like,
oh yeah, Pictionary debates. It's just awkward because like, why have these really unique character designs that look fucking sick and then like not utilize them, especially they're like different cultures, you know? Like that was cool to me. Like even Cho turning into mist and stuff like that shit was cool.
Nah,
but then Isaac just turned her to ice, and bro, Cypher low-key got the most kills.
Yeah.
Like I'm not Trevor's a close second, but Cypher low-key got the most kills.
Yeah.
Cypher the Avatar. Cora,
the
Cora who? She don't even need the Avatar state for real.
fuck is a Korra? I don't know crap.
Oh my gosh. Okay, okay, okay. We gotta go back. We gotta go back. We're diverting. We gotta go back on course. But
No
I'm curious.
worries.
But
What
I'm
was
curious because I do want to see your season 4. Like, just scroll. You don't have to. We're not
oh
going to do all of them, but just
I'm
scroll.
not done with Carmilla.
Oh,
This is the plot convenience thing. So her whole plan, it is brilliant. I agree with you there. The concept it's outstanding, all the way to like the first stage of execution, where it's like, okay, we're gonna kill Dracula's forces through a trap at Brayla. Then I'm going to converge with them, or we're going to remove him from power, or just kill him because he's an angry, stupid old man. Whatever. And it's like, all right, that's good. So when as she notices her forces are moving across the bridge into the castle, she then moves with Hector across the bridge rather than staying or converging at the castle. And I know exactly why. If she went into the castle, she would have been murdered by Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard. We couldn't have
yep.
that. We need her in season 3, so we have to make her awkwardly move Hector across the bridge.
I think another thing too is like I think we could just I'm gonna just give her a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she did not want to get her hands dirty. She didn't want to fight. She wanted to just let her minions do that for her. You know, she
Ah,
because that's kind of how she was until she actually has to get her own hands physically dirty. You know, but for the most part, if she didn't have to do anything and she could just let the people she ruled do it, like she did, you know, like again, Hector was the main reason why she was able to do her plan. All she did was talk to him, you know.
true. Very true. Oh yeah, the last two notes are when Dracula creates the giant fireball that everyone teams up to push against Dracula, and him and Alucard go through a wall. Trevor and Sypha run around the hole, even though
Yes,
Sypha could have cooled the hole down with her ice magic. No.
bro, she literally could have done the ice elevator like she's done before. And she did it in season 2.
Yeah, and
She did it in the Belmont hold.
yeah, and the defense could have been like, no, Trevor and Sypha knew that with a battle between vampires, they would just scatter everywhere. The fun fact is, the room where Alucard and Dracula wind up in, they fight there the longest. So Sypha just cooled that giant hole in the wall. They could have ran through and did more teamwork.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And also, I have one diss against Isaac. This is just because I'm a big fan of medieval style combat. I just find it hilarious that Isaac can sword fight with a knife.
You know, that reminds me of like that Vine, and the mom's like, "What do you have, honey? A knife?" She's like, "No."
The next panel, demon. She turns into a night creature.
No. No, but for real, like, bro, Isaac was giving niggas the work with the knife. Like, he really was. Like, he was my nigga Isaac was putting in work with that knife. Like, I was getting weak, honestly. But hey, it's not just any knife; it's a magic knife.
I know. It's just like I see a probably 200-pound man with a much larger sword. He goes and Isaac just perfectly parries it with a knife. It's like, oh, I guess he's a distant ancestor of Dracula Mihawk. I guess I don't know.
I was thinking that when he was fighting Carmilla, honestly. Yes! But then like he did amplify his knife and reinforce it with magic, and I guess you could say that could be a thing to give his knife, like enhance his knife.
Yeah, I was a much bigger fan when he knew he was outmatched in physical combat, so the night creatures just instantly tagged in. I find that shit much more appealing than
no, magic. For real. Like the way he utilized the night creatures in that whole fight, brilliant. And like the fact that he used them to wear her down first and then take her out, genius.
I love Isaac. I love the tweet you said about him, a real ass N.
Oh, yes. I'm an Isaac stan. We stan Isaac and Trevor in this household, and Alucard is best boy.
Yeah. Reminds me. I don't know why.
That is the law. I don't know if you saw this like show on Netflix called Jupiter's Legacy, but they have this thing called The Code, and that is the code.
The code.
By the way, like off topic, but Jupiter's Legacy is basically Netflix's version of them trying to have the boys are invincible, and it don't work. And apparently it's based off of a comic, which is good, but the TV show is, don't watch it. I mean, if you want to watch it to judge it yourself, and then we could talk about it. I'm all for it. But yeah. I'm
Go
not gonna say
read
nothing else.
Invincible.
I honestly been thinking about reading Invincible, but I kind of want to just watch it to have more of that shock value when I see what happens.
To be honest, to be perfectly honest with you, I do say it as a joke because unfortunately the writing in the comic does act like a heartbeat monitor, much like the post time skip for One Piece is a heartbeat monitor, because you get some highs, but my god, does the quality spike all over the place. And one of my favorite boys, Cecil, he took a bit of a writing hit in the comic and then was redeemed like 10 issues later. I'm like, what have you done to my boy? Oh, he's back. Why did you massacre my boy in the first place? Why? Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
reading the comic. If you ever do decide to read it, and if anyone reads this, I guarantee everyone that does is going to hate the two phrases "I'm sorry" and "I love you." They're going to hate those two phrases because they are on fucking repeat throughout the whole 144 issue run.
Oh well, I'll pass. But like my thing too is that like I just heard that Omni Man's a nice Viltrumite, and I'm like, if he's a nice Viltrumite, what all I see is the dude with the beard, like the gray, like dude with the gray, and like I saw like the female Viltrumite. I saw pictures of her and then him, and I'm like, I'm scared.
I guarantee everyone, this is Trevor's lock of the week. I fucking guarantee that by when we see probably the end of season 2 or the end of season 3, it depends on how they go with Omni-Man this in terms of the story. I guarantee he's going to be the next Endeavor. I fucking guarantee there's going to be video essays that are on the same level, like, oh, Endeavor, he's this fantastic character. And everyone's going to take back what they said at the end of season 1, like, he's a monster, he's unforgivable.
Omni-Man is a menace, bro. He called his wife a pet.
Just you wait. I'm not saying shit. Just everyone wait. He's going to be the next Endeavor. I can't wait to laugh.
I guess he's going to start saying Mark like Sholto, like Mark, like.
Oh, well, hey, look, season 3.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just want to share a couple notes that I find really funny. Taka and Sumi.
Yes.
So they learned to track Dracula's castle. How in the fuck did they do that? They're also from Japan. Now, this is some real world shit that I looked into. So Japan's distance from Romania is 5,500 miles away from Wallachia. How the fuck did they reach this land in little more than a month? Because season 2 was like, what, a week to 2 at best? Wasn't that? I think
it was like a month after the events that happened.
Yeah, but the point is, we learned that in that month span, Carmilla and Hector, they traveled 800 miles in a month. These two fucks, they traveled 5,500 miles in the span of season 2 and leading up to season 3. How the fuck does that work? And how do they find Dracula's castle when they say at the end of the season, no one helped us? They didn't give us any directions. No one helped.
And then also, like, their betrayal reason was stupid.
Oh, honestly, if it wasn't for Zamfir, they would have been the worst characters in the show.
Literally, their betrayals made no sense. Literally, Alucard gave them everything, and they're like, "You're hiding something from us."
Oh my god!
Like what? What is he hiding?
This quote: "Would you tell us if there's something you're not telling us?"
Oh my gosh! Oh, like it just fucking annoyed me. And then he's like, "Well, then they said, well, we want to rule the world. Where did this come from? Yeah. What?" Oh. And like, there's just a lot of things about Taka and Sumi they just did not make sense. That's
the awful part, everyone. That was the awful I was referring to. Their final episode, or episode 9 and 10 with Sumi and Taka, it is awful. It's really bad. It's the worst.
That's when they do it's called the fight fuck area.
Fuck.
The fight fuck. That's what happens. And
that's what Batman and Catwoman do on rooftops. They fight fuck.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do. That's how they communicate their love for each other. But like at first I was like happy for my dude Alucard. I'm like Alucard getting my Alucard getting some, you know what I'm saying? Like go ahead, Alucard. I ain't mad at you, you know, do your thing, bro. But then it would cut to a fight scene and like killing demons and then back to fucking and then killing demons and then back to fucking. It was just yeah. But
like
anyways,
he lied. He just sat there and didn't say anything. He didn't have any questions or statements about him being rewarded. Nothing at all. It says skin his dick sucked.
Bro, I mean, like, listen, it might have been a minute since my Alucard had some, and you know, did the Devil's Tango. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was a 2-for-1 combo. You know, like maybe Alucard was just lonely. He was very lonely. He was. I took advantage of that. And, you know, like when you're lonely, you do things. And so Alucard just like he wanted some pussy and bussy, you know? That's what he got with the twist.
I can concede that point. I just find it funny that Alucard, a man that has always something to say, it's like, it's time for your reward. Oh, just gasps.
Listen, he deserved it. Well, not all of it.
He didn't deserve it after that.
He didn't deserve to be betrayed, but he deserves some loving.
Yeah, I agree. He did need love.
But Taka and Sumi did not make any sense. They just they did not make sense. And then like literally, why would Alucard have anything to hide from you? And not only that, but like first of all, like he invited you into his home. And you want to go through the entire castle, and that's his home. Like it's just a lot of things. And then like how they didn't really explain well how they were able to escape from Cho's fortress.
Oh, they did. They said that they were able to kill the guards and then make their way.
I guess, yeah, but like it took them only that long to get there.
Yeah, that's the big plot hole.
And how did they track Dracula's castle?
Exactly, because no one could have given them directions.
What did they use?
Found it.
What did they use? Fucking astrology. they found out Dracula is a rising Aries, an Aries rising with a Capricorn moon, and like used his big 3 to find his castle.
They smelled his burning corpse from like thousands of miles away. It's like, it's that way, northeast.
Bruh. They felt the winds of hell to guide them?
How'd you feel? I'm sorry, go on.
No, go ahead. I was gonna I don't know if you've seen like Kingdom Hearts, right?
Oh, I love Kingdom Hearts.
Like, what did they do? Say like they let their heart be their guiding key? Like, I had to. That shit's so corny to
the
me.
Master of Masters shows up. It's like, may your heart be your guiding key. Just vanishes.
No,
like,
for real.
Who's that, Taka? I don't know.
Someone walk up to them and say, "Hail Hydra," and that's how they found him. Let me stop.
Keep going. Nazi just walks up to them and goes, "How Dracula," and walks away.
Oh, literally, that's what they did in season 3 and 4. Literally everybody at the Priory was like, "Hail Dracula."
That's how Sumitaka found the castle. The Nazi that did Hail Dracula, the Sieg Heil, it was pointed in the direction of the castle. They just followed that way.
The night creature would be like, "Hail Dracula." You know, they just asked the night creature. But I will say, I think one of my favorite parts of Endgame was when like he's in the elevator again. And he just says, and then Chris Evans, Captain America, just says, "Hail Hydra." Because I remember that how good that fight scene was in Winter Soldier. And he, again, same setup. And he just like,
go ahead, take it. It's all yours.
"Hail Hydra."
All the agents like, he was on our side? I guess he is.
They were shook.
Yeah.
They were shook.
Can you imagine
so basically
how...
that undoes all of Winter Soldier and the like Project Insight still there.
I was about to say, it's like, oh my god, Cap's on our side, cool. Everyone's like, yeah, we're gonna win for sure. 30 minutes later, my name is Steve Rogers, I'm Captain America. Everyone's been infiltrated by Hydra. What the fuck, dude?
No, but imagine he did all that and then Project Insight's still intact because they're about to take out Trevor for some of his bad takes. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
We're not even there yet, are we?
no, no, no. After all,
Oh,
as a member of the toxic brood, me and Walk-ins are just gaseous forms at this point.
are we just taking a sacred pole to hell like Lil Nas X?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh my gosh.
Depends on how this goes. Oh yeah, the final note I want to show you for season 3 is Hector is shown a philosophy book from Lenore that was set up before he started to like her. Red flag, because the scene was Lenore goes to Hector. She takes him out for a walk. This is the first time he's out of his cell. Lenore then spends the scene. It's like, this is how us vampires think. This is the truth, Hector, and this is your truth. And then she walks him back to his new cell, and in that new cell, you have a bed and a table. On that table is a book about vampire philosophy. It's like, a book about trying to convince me to your mindset when you spent the last 30 minutes or so trying to convince me of your mindset? It seems like you're trying to trick me into something.
Literally, what Lenore was doing to Hector was painfully obvious. But then Hector he did the same thing he did in season 2, but worse.
I mean, Hector was thrown a hot piece of bat pussy in his face, and he couldn't say no.
Yeah, I guess.
As a man, I get it. If I was there, I'm like, dude, I understand, but focus the fuck up.
Bro, he was on the brink of life or death. He just wanted some pleasure.
What's your first request, Hector? Shoes. Oh. I would say water, but okay.
Right.
What else was there? Oh, I like this note. Sumi and Taka have evil smiles during the fucking.
Yes. They really did. They're like, we're about to kill you.
Nobody helps us. We'll build our own empire. No one helps us since they hide everything from us. You won't teach us magic. They say after being shown the Belmont hold, the trove of all physical and mystical combat against fucking vampires.
Bro, that shit was painful. Oh my gosh. Like literally their logic made sense. No. I'm sorry. Don't no. I meant to say that didn't make sense. I'm sorry. It made me so mad that I stopped making sense. Like that's how infuriating everything that they said made me. Like it just like that's like arguing with somebody who doesn't listen to reason. That's like trying to argue someone with nothing to lose. Like, no. Like it came out left field. I'm like, you gonna build an empire? What? Like literally, it's like he showed like the Belmont hold is sacred, like centuries of monster hunting.
Are you gonna teach us
Belmont legacy? Literally, you have the whole Belmont legacy at your fingertips. And that's all like literally they could have.
When can you move the castle? When can you move? I like how Taka's plan is like, I want the castle to move. Are you sure it can't move? My question is, why the fuck do you want it to move? What's the point? You can't do anything with it anyway.
Have you seen the fucking engine room?
Yeah.
Can you fix a gear?
I like how, in season 2, when Alucard and Dracula are fighting, you can see that the gears are melted. And then even afterwards, like in season 4, you can still see broken gears everywhere during the final battle. It's a very nice detail.
I agree.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, season 4.
So are most of these about Marina and Striga?
So yeah, there was like one Trevor moment where it's like, this is in episode 1 where Trevor and Sypha stumble upon a ritual for human sacrifice. And as they're running towards him, Trevor's like, are we not going to try and talk them down then? And Cypher's like, no, they're going to sacrifice children. Like, wait, no, Trevor should be against it from the start. He sees human sacrifices in an age where Dracula keeps wanting to be revived, or doesn't, well, not Dracula himself, but everyone wants to keep reviving Dracula. The writing should have been on the wall, dude. Children are going to die. You don't allow that. Come on, dude. Come on.
Yeah. I will say, though, like, I just think it's so funny. When Trevor said, I wish I could fucking kill you twice.
That was a good line. I want to use that line from now on. What else was a good oh yeah. So yeah, this is where the Morana and Striga come in. So Morana calls Carmilla mad, even though there really wasn't any hint of that in season 3. The closest we ever get is Morana saying in season 3, it's like, she has her schemes and we follow them because we love her. Season 4, she's crazy. She's a friend. She's not a sister. It's like, wait, what? No, I thought that was how you lived because you had a bond, and she's just your friend. Ouch! I feel bad for Carmilla now.
Bro, like, aren't y'all supposed to be sisters?
Yeah. Oh, and this is funny. I wanted to see people's defense to this, where Striga's day armor, it's so badass. It's
Bro, it was fucking sick. It's metal as fuck. Like
it was so berserk in nature.
It was very berserk. Even
I still haven't seen the show, but I still or read the manga, but I can still tell it's like an homage.
I could tell there was some homages to Berserk, and people were saying that in the comments too.
Yeah, it's like it was the artwork that really sold it. My question is, if her hair is out in the open, would it not catch fire too?
Okay, here's my thing. I feel like it's skin, not hair.
But Lenore, when she goes into the sunlight, her entire being gets obliterated, and then
because her whole but it's like her skin too. Like,
but there is a scene in that same scene where Striga walks towards the tents. Yes, she walks towards tents of her kind being butchered in sunlight, where vampires who do have hair get obliterated, and then the next thing you know, all that's left are their skeletons with no hair. So I think hair is an essential part of that.
Couldn't it be like fur maybe on the outside of it?
Oh, it wasn't. It was like in terms of the armor itself, it was just the helmet that had a hole in the back, and that's where the hair would flow through. Well, actually, hold on. Is vampire hair flammable?
Well, all hair is flammable, but like, if we're going down that route, Trevor,
hold on.
If you light someone's hair on fire, it's gonna burn.
Hold on, I need to have the very appropriate music as we dive into this very scientific explanation. Here we go. All right. Here we go. All right, so...
I knew it was coming. I knew it.
All right, so I found a link from Panlight Tumblr. Do you think vampire's hair is flammable? Vampire hair and vampire flammability, the two most two-nosed questions in canon together at last. My gut instinct is that it's not any more or less flammable than human hair. It seems like fire accident. What the? This person was right into bonfires. What the fuck?
No, but like, see, my thing is too. It seems like it's more so like if their skin. It's like exposed. So even like if it's like like I feel like it's more so like their skin.
Oh, wait a sec. Oh, I'm going to the source of infinite knowledge, the infinite corridor of knowledge, Reddit.
Oh my gosh.
So
not Reddit.
Is vampire blood flammable when sunlight hits it? Kenneth Skittles said 1 year ago, they bleed outside and it's not a big deal. The one time that comes to mind is when Stefan is stabbed by Catherine and he and Alina sit on the bench afterwards. You can see his blood and it's fine. What the fuck does that have to do with sunlight? God fucking damn it. No! No!
I'm right. Listen, yield. Bend the knee. Bend the knee.
My power, it's fading. No!
Listen, bend the knee. Enjoy me or die by fire.
I refuse to be a terrible character like Jon Snow.
Dracarys.
Oh, don't worry, fire doesn't affect me. Oh wait, no, it still does. Or did it? I don't remember. That show turned so inconsistent.
My goodness.
Oh.
You know, one day I think we should revisit Game of Thrones and why people are still so upset and hurt by that ending.
Number one, Daenerys killed thousands of children willingly. That's number one reason.
There's so many, but like my thing is like they really wanted to show her descent into madness. There's a way they could have done that. And like honestly, people say season 8, but it really started with season 7 because that's when season 6 when they caught up to the books.
She's my queen.
Bro, and then they made Tyrion stupid. Ugh.
I love the fucking scene where Tyrion at this is the very start of episode 6. Tyrion looks over the destruction. He goes over to Daenerys, rips off the hand of the queen badge and throws it at her feet. And then Daenerys like, take him away. It's like, dude, you are the hand of the fucking queen. She won. She's surrounded by troops. Maybe don't do this, you fucking moron.
Even better, when the Night King and the White Walkers are invading Winterfell, and they're raising the dead, right? And then where does Tyrion go? The crypt. And then I love how Peter Dinklage joked about that, and I'm like, it's not so smart of Tyrion to go to the crypt. And he's like, and then he said Tyrion typically makes smart decisions, but that wasn't too smart.
Nope. Remind me.
Why would you go into a crypt?
I don't know why they would go into a crypt. I don't know. It's so that season's so bad.
My thing is too, it's like if another thing, if niggas who can raise the dead are coming, wouldn't it make sense to like just leave the the crypt tombs or whatever, but then just burn the bodies in the crypt?
Yeah, but it could have been a fire hazard.
No, but take the bodies out of the crypt in the open air and then burn them.
It's too much work.
No, it's too much logic. You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's too much logic because we wouldn't have good entertainment without logic. With logic, like literally, like all of Castlevania could have ended if Alucard saved his mom.
Yeah.
Literally, Attack on Titan would not have happened if Ymir did not go in that tree.
See, I have not touched Attack on Titan, but I know what you're talking about because Watkins told me things about it. It's very funny.
Yeah.
We even had like a recording session that unfortunately did not last long because I think my internet gave out and everything was lost. But he was an Attack on Titan fan from the start. And when the final chapter came out, we did a thing where I, who have never read a chapter, just read the final chapter on stream.
Oh my gosh.
And I kept making these jokes, and Watkins like, well, as shitty as your jokes are, they're not half wrong. I'm like, what?
Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
How is this happening?
And I don't know why he did the extra pages, bro. But we're not talking about Attack on Titan right now, okay? We're talking about Castlevania, and there's clearly more notes. Not even at the bottom yet.
Yeah, I like this one. So during the battle with that involved Striga, she's like, "Soldiers, arm yourself and cloak yourselves," and like some vampires come out with hoods, and I'm like, that's very funny because all it takes is one gust of wind and those vampires are fucked. They're not even covering like the face that well because even if you have a hood, you're still gonna feel the sunlight. It's ultraviolet rays for a reason, guys.
Maybe it's the same material made out of Striga's trunk. I don't know.
Oh yeah, and again, this is where Marana and Striga take up a good chunk of my notes, and then I get into Zamfir.
Ooh. Oh my gosh, Zamfir! She, her whole character. Go ahead. Go ahead. I can't. You heard that's what I have to say. Go ahead. I don't have nothing else to say.
This is my last note, Marana and Striga. I find it hilarious that after a few weeks of taking territory and securing it, Marana and Striga, they quit because they say that fighting constantly is too hard and would take forever, even though they're fucking immortal. And the end game of them having that empire, it was proven by the other regional vampire lores that it worked. You could make it. Like, it was a proven system. You don't get much more human resistance.
I guess the whole thing was that, like, it was a one-sided fight, and it was just a massacre, and I'm like, yeah, it is a massacre. It's not, they're not warriors.
They do highlight that, but it's not the main reason they go with, and that's the funny part. They're like, nah, it's too much work. I'm like, what?
Like, if they really wanted to, they really could rule everything from Styria to Brayla. They really could have. But then Carmilla wanted the whole world. So that's when they're like, nah, it's too much work.
Oh, I plot convenience with Saint Germain. And by the way, fun fact, it took me a while to realize this, but Saint Germain is voiced by Bill Nye, aka Davy Jones from the Pirate of the Caribbean films.
Oh,
I was like, all ever since season 3, it's like, I know that voice from somewhere. I fucking know it. And then he let the Davy Jones voice out a little during the when he's talking to Death, as disguised as the alchemist in the Infinite Corridor. It's like, where is she? I'm like, oh, it's you.
oh my, yeah. Ooh, I do have a question, but I feel like we should save that closer to the end when we get to like the end of season 4. But it's about Trevor.
I mean, I'm right here, but anyway.
But not you, not Mont.
Not How do you like that name? It took me 5 minutes to come up with this.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, thank you all. Yeah, Germain reaches the alchemist in death. He shouts at it, "Where is his love?" To which the alchemist says, "I do not know. She moved to another sphere in the corridor, and I have not looked for her." And then every single question until the key is presented is Germain going, "Where is she?" Dude, she answered you with a pretty good answer, actually. You should probably drop it and listen, dude. And then this is like the biggest plot convenience of season 4. I think Germain is given a key that is said that allows him to go wherever he wants in the corridor. And the whole thing that the writers are trying to convey is like, oh no, even though he has control of the corridor, to have ultimate super 100,000% control, you need that rebus of Dracula and Lisa. But he has the key.
That's what was getting like had me confused too, because I'm like, couldn't he just find her? And you know what's funny? All this for someone's hair blowing in the wind.
I mean, he is a man.
Yeah.
Trying to get that common sense.
Bro, he said God's about to have sex again. He said that, but he died. I'm sorry. Because he was really talking heavy shit. He was talking mad shit. Yeah. About how we got to get laid finally. Then this nigga died.
That was funny as hell. It's like you can tell that he's on like a power high from everything, because it's like the first time where everything is like everything is going up his way finally, and he has a high from it. And you can tell by that line, it's like, I am God, and he's about to have sex again. Oh God, a piece of Trevor's cross conveniently speared me. Shit.
Oh my, that was so funny. Because he was talking so heavy. He was talking real heavy, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. This is all right. I got mad at an episode.
I see Doggo. So
oh my God, there is the scene where Alucard and Greta and the villagers are walking through a forest. Alucard just dealt with like 2 different mobs of night creatures, but it's established that everyone's back together. They're just still walking and talking. And then everyone stops. They get their weapons ready. And then the dog is like, arr, arr, arr. You see, it's like, I honestly, I'm a cat person. I'm also a dog person. Seeing like a dog having,
it's like a puppy too, mind you.
Yeah, again, it's like heart ripped out, like its intestines ripped out by a demon. I actually replayed that because I just felt overwhelmed. Sounds like, dude, that was my dog. Oh my God, no, stop.
Yeah, mind you, it was a puppy too, a young lad.
It's like that doggo did not have to die. Alucard had advanced senses. He knew, like, the scene is played for laughs afterwards. Because like, I guess I'm getting.
That reminds me of something too. It's like, with advanced senses, it reminds me, it must have the same plot convenience as Spidey senses, you know? Like all Spider-Man Homecoming, we didn't see Peter Parker use Spidey sense once.
Nope.
And then suddenly he got the ability to use Spidey sense again.
Oh, it was like a puberty joke that they did, if I remember right.
You know, I call that plot convenience.
I still love that movie, but yes, you're right.
Yeah. But it's like Spidey sense wants to work, then it doesn't want to work. Like, yeah, like another thing too, like Alucard, the way he uses his vampire abilities is very inconsistent.
Yes.
Very, very. Then like when he had wings, I'm like, okay, that was cool. He looked like a fucking angel.
Sephiroth.
it's like, yeah, he gave me some big Sephiroth vibes with the sword too. But I'm like, Alucard, where was half of this shit? And I'm like, bro, like, there's so like the way he used his vampire abilities were very inconsistent.
Yeah. Oh, and you're about to see it. So Jermaine, okay, this is after the merciless slaughter of the doggo. So Alucard is talking with Greta, and then like not even 5 yards away, Jermaine is whispering to himself. It's like, "Gone, what are you doing? If you keep this up, they'll all die, and it will be for naught." Alucard is in front of you, you dipsy twat. What the fuck are you doing? Because there was even an earlier scene where Alucard and Jermaine are talking, and Alucard's like, keep walking. And he hears a little twig high up in the distance, like snap. He hears that. He can't hear Saint Germain whisper to himself.
Bro, that's why, bro, Daredevil could have heard that.
Yeah, what? Like, why didn't you? You could have just had like, you would have made your job easier. Don't animate the mouth. Just do a zoom in. Have an echo effect on the audio. Just have him think to himself. What are you doing?
Yeah,
No.
it's the plot convenience for me.
And this is funny. So this is when Isaac makes his fucking entrance. With
yes, the
choir. Yeah, so he goes in this cage, a very secluded area with Lenore. Now, Lenore doesn't know anything about Isaac. No, but Lenore can still fight. She has vampire powers. She doesn't do anything in the cage, and when Isaac has his attention focused on Hector, like, he has his back turned on the vampire lady. And you know what happened? She has resorted to being weak for the sake of the Forge Masters epic reunion. And her whole character in season 3, like in that one quote, is like, people look at me, the diplomat, and see that I'm weak. Now you know why that's a foolish thought to have, because I could still kick your ass. And we know Isaac could have probably killed her, but it's like, it's very strange that Lenore didn't even attempt once to put up a fight.
You know what's funnier too? Isaac could have gone around the cage.
Well, you know what's funny? I'm pretty sure there were a few shots where the cage is animated differently, where in one shot it takes up the whole, like, it blocks off Hector and the door, and then in another shot it's just around Lenore.
It looks like a round circle, and I'm like, it looks like Isaac could have walked around it.
Oh, here we go. Here we fucking go. Oh, the Zamfir notes. Let's go.
Okay, just go straight to that.
All right, so first thing, Targa Vista had a king and a queen. They hoarded magical things like the traveling mirror, and they used that I didn't put it in here, but they used that to take more gold and magic shit, and Zamfir called them magicians. Season 1, everything was ruled by the church, and for the royals to be hoarding such things, I'm surprised that no one from the church, especially the archbishop of all people, the archbishop, they never found any traces of these treasures, didn't really launch an investigation, and persecuted the royals for witchcraft. And Zamfir even said that the church always suspected the royals. So what stopped them before the sacred name of God? And like you said, that was when the church was taken over. They would have had all the fucking authority.
They literally could have. Like, the archbishop was basically like fucking high Bernie Sanders from Game of Thrones. You know, like, literally, like, if he wanted to, he could have.
I wrote this out of malice, rewatching I watched episode 7 3 times. One was for the first time. The second time was to find out more about the Trevor's knife, because I thought he found the knife in that episode, but it was throughout season 4. Third time was for the big rewatch, and Zamfir is the fucking worst character in the show. A true, definite idiot, believing that the underground court her own creation is exclusive, and yet she lets random families in. She believes that the royals, who are fucking skeletons, part of an army that laid waste to her city, they're just sleeping. And once they awake, everything will go back to the way it was. She believes that her city is a country, and when she's corrected, she calls the city the beating heart of the country. It's like, no, that's not how this works. She somehow admits she's crazy, but that's not an excuse. It's an explanation for writing her to be absolutely brain dead and contradict everything she believes in. She claims to have gone mad from Dracula attacking the city, but that then begs the question of how she was able to set up a court, get the skeletons of the king and queen, and establish everything we see on her own. No one else knows about the king
and people follow her. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know anything except for Zamfir. She believes that she saved the royals when she dragged their burning skeletons out of the royal palace somehow, but there's no chance in hell that those were the only skeletons that she saw. She would have seen tons more skeletons, and it's interesting that Zamfir, during this attack where she went insane, she was able to do an escort mission perfectly to an underground base with demons everywhere.
Oh my gosh. And then another thing too is that like no one in the court sought to look. They never heard from the royals
while she was gone.
Like, I think that goes back to like the flaws that were in season 2 of the silent background characters.
Oh yeah.
Like there are whole families, kids in that underground court. You're telling me kids would not have gone to look?
Yeah, kids? No, they got speared by the guards because they're probably as crazy as Zamfir.
Oh my gosh! Also, that reminds me of what the fucking the judge did.
Oh yes, dude,
that was a dark ass twist.
It was a dark ass twist, but unfortunately, it doesn't make much sense because even though the apple tree trap was, a really good trap for people, he used like excuses that don't exactly work. Because he said to Trevor when they're hanging out, it's like people went missing. Fortunately, one was a farming accident. It's like, wait, hold on. You say a farming accident. Do you realize how easy it is for like any parents or friends to look into that matter and determine that to be false?
Bro, so what I learned is that the judge hates kids.
Yeah, much like Kevin Spacey. Oh wait.
Oh my god. Bro, I used to actually watch House of Cards.
I didn't, but this is real, by the way. So I had in high school, I had a friend in marching band, and her mom, for my graduation present, she gave me a music blanket. Like it was just a blanket with music notes all around it. And she made that for me, and it's still in my bed. Like, literally, if I had a face cam in my new PC, I would absolutely show it. But it's right here in my bed with me, and it's this really cool. She was also one of the costume assistant designers for House of Cards. It was really cool.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I have a celebrity blanket. I will never sell it.
Oh my gosh. Nah, but in conclusion to Trevor's whole thesis and dissertation about Zamfir, she's trash. Moving on.
Zamfir is absolutely horrible. There's an odd line that Death says where it's like, I will feed and become the strongest creature on this earth. I don't think that Death was implying that power was something he was exactly focused on. It's just a little bit of a weird line. That was really it.
Yeah, because he's mostly focused on just eating. You know?
Times he's like, I will feed and become the strongest creature on this earth. Like,
okay, go straight to that Trevor versus Death, because yes, I thought that was so weird.
Yeah, the Siphon Alucard can fly. Alucard with his cape and Siphon with her firepower. Like they clumsily fall down the crumbling tower, and it's just like, oh, that's the last time we see of them. Oh, for the rest of the episode, next time we see Alucard, it's just him on the log with Greta.
But like literally though, like they could have supported Trevor, and it could be a whole final boss Kingdom Hearts type shit, like versus the Lingering Will type stuff. That would have been so satisfying. And like Trevor versus Death was great, But like, imagine all three of them up there doing the best team ups. Because mind you, they are doing some amazing teamwork and team combos, right? And
That's
I feel
why
like that was a missed opportunity, and like it just did not make sense because Sypha can they both can fly. Sypha turns into a little firebender, can fly. She can do ice walks and like walk over there literally if she wanted to. Alucard has wings and he can float, whatever that vampire thing is. Like, I don't know what to call that, but like, okay, I'm gonna.
teamwork the teamwork in that episode, and despite the issue I'm about to go into next, despite all that, like the endings is the name of the episode. My God, it's just one of my favorites because like you get to see the trio back, and you
No,
get the perfect dialogue between them. It's
it was so beautiful, especially because like Alucard really missed them, but he was, and when they showed up, he really wanted to just say, "Oh my gosh, my friends are here!" But he's like, "Oh look," he tried to play it cool so much, but he was so happy. You could just tell.
yeah,
It's like,
the way
"Oh,
his
it's Trevor
eyes lit
Belmont."
up. Yeah, the way his eyes lit up when he saw the whip and fire. He's like,
I know, and like it was so funny too because he kept saying, "Oh, I'm becoming Trevor Belmont now."
as if my day couldn't be worse. It's Trevor Belmont.
He was really happy. He just didn't listen. He was just being a tsundere.
He had a fucking smile the whole time when he
He
saw
was
them.
so happy. It's
I
like the
can't
gang is
wait.
back.
We need to talk about the dialogue in the next episode. But I do have one more burning question for this episode. I'm very interested to hear your thoughts about it.
Yeah.
So when the resurrection failed for Dracula, the Death looks at the key of the infinite corridor, he grabs it, and then he grows to that giant size. And I was like, how did he grow to that size and get so much power? Was it the death energy he absorbed from everyone that was sacrificed? Was it the souls of the village, energy from the infinite corridor, all of the above? By giving the key to Germain, did he leave a piece of himself so that Germain could escape the corridor? It's confusing circumstances.
Yeah, honestly, I can't exactly pinpoint what happened. Maybe because the key did contain a lot of souls, he could have used as a power up, like for a rainy day, because that makes me think like he gave that key to Saint Germain to help fulfill his purpose. But like since he imbued the key with all those souls, maybe that could be like his backup meal or his like fail safe should things go wrong, is what I'm thinking.
That'd be that. I like that. A backup. Maybe that's the explanation. Oh,
Super villain with an actual fail safe.
yeah. And all right. So these are my notes on death. This is just like all the. It's like okay, this is that detail. This is that detail. Okay, I like it. I like all these details. Blah blah blah. So the only other big issue that I had in season 4 was the Suicide God Pact knife that Trevor uses. So the knife itself is in Targa Vista, lying in a random armory. He just finds that. And I was like, okay, so that's the knife itself. He then finds the blue power gem in the coattails of that dead soldier when they were in that barn. And that's when they met Zamfir. After the battle, Trevor just for some reason goes through like the coattails of this dead soldier. He's like, oh, a gem. Okay, that's very weird. Trevor and Cypher go, how do we fit into the destiny of this town? And Trevor goes, fit? It's the secret treasure. But there's like, you don't get any commentary about what that moment was for. It was like
Exactly.
writers. What's up?
It's like exactly.
Yeah, it's like you don't get any context. The writers are like, no, when you rewatch it, it'll make sense, but it really doesn't. And then the last piece is in a random spot in the underground court. He then realizes, no wonder they split into pieces, and that's it. It's like, you honestly, you guys should have just probably kept to the Morningstar Whip as the definitive way to defeat death. Like, have Trevor just wail on the skull until it breaks. Don't use the knife, please.
Yeah, it's like that. That's what I was wondering too, is because like when I was doing my first watch of season 4, I remember they did all this build up about this like knife and then it went away. It was very random and it threw me off. But I'm glad you addressed that because I wanted to go into my next question for you now.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about Trevor's death not being real?
Um, so
And he got in the way he escaped death. Like,
I honestly thought it makes 90% sense because after the final blow, like you could tell that motherfucker knife was lethal. It like seared his arm. And I was actually waiting for a line like I was able to destroy death, but man, my right arm is fucked up. I can't use it anymore in combat. I was waiting for that kind of line, but it never happens. So I don't know if there really were any consequences other than like scarring. But the only thing that doesn't really make much sense to me is when Saint Germain uses the key to teleport Trevor into the Infinite Corridor to escape the explosion at the end. You don't really get to see how he escaped. Like
it was
Trevor
off
goes,
screen.
yeah, Trevor goes to the Infinite Corridor, and then he said, "The next thing I know, I'm lying in a field." It's like, wait, hold on. The Infinite Corridor is like a passage through space, not time.
It makes me think. Here's a theory, maybe like maybe Saint Germain's love saw what was happening because we did see her glimpse at him before he dies.
Oh!
So maybe she saved Trevor.
How, by the way, how'd you feel about that utter betrayal by the love? Saint Germain did nothing wrong. By the way, imagine you have the POV of the woman. Honestly, a portal opens up, and you get to see her love for the first time, and he's impaled, and he has like the key to the Infinite Corridor, and he's just dying. And you look at him, it's like you would think it's like, my love, this is the first time I've seen you. I didn't know any context of what's happening, but you, a man I really care about, you're dying. I'm just going to turn my back on you because I somehow am omniscient and I know everything that happened.
Second of all, I think she's an asshole for not trying to find him.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, they're both wrong.
And my thing is, it's like literally they make contact through a dream or whatever. And it's like, if you knew he was trying to come find you, why would you leave? And then she was back at the Gears place.
I think it was a flashback dream that Saint Germain had. Because he always had the stone. It was like we were just getting that context of what the stone was about and his relationship to the woman. Like I can't get over that. It's just like
my thing is, if you believe in Saint Germain, like he found it once and he was going to do it again. Like, why would like if anything? Why didn't you try to get back to Earth? Like, and then go back in together.
She was just trapped in the library. She didn't really have a way to move around the Infinite Corridor until the very end of season 4. Oh my God, that's another thing for the notes. She just randomly opened a portal. She's there.
If anything, like, did Death send her away?
Death as he was dying opened up the portal. It's like, look, it's him.
I think this would be an interesting twist if like Death was really pulling the strings all along the whole time, and if that was actually Death. I think that'd have been cool.
Oh, that'd be cool. I had another thing where it's just like I was really hoping that there would be like flashbacks throughout, like, oh, I wanted this to happen for a while, and maybe like Death disguised himself as the Archbishop that took away Lisa because he knew that was
that would have been brilliant, and that would have brought everything together.
It's like Death came to, like, you could have two scenarios where Death disguised himself as the Archbishop, took cronies to Lisa's house, take her for witchcraft, and then the next day the real Archbishop's like, are you ready to execute a witch and be really famous in the eyes of God? It's like, oh, sure. The other way could have been Death shows up to the Archbishop and he's like, I am Death. And then the Archbishop, the crazy lunatic religious nut that he is like, oh, you must be the angel of Death. And you could have had that parallel right there. I was hoping for more flashbacks. Like he was he was like the Archbishop. He could have been one of the vampire generals there too, trying to sow
literally a good old it was Agatha all along twist,
Yeah. And you would have to rework some themes throughout the whole series to make that work, but I think it would have been worth it. But it's clear that you can tell by the big twist and how death acts through Varney. It's like they really did come up with the twist at the last moment rather than build throughout the whole series. Not to say that the big season 4 twist isn't like terrible. It's just something that could have been
Random.
expanded upon.
Yeah, it honestly felt kind of random, and I had a feeling death was going to come up because they were talking about people worshiping death. So I had a feeling Death was going to probably make an appearance, but I feel like it would have been more impactful to Death's character if he was really influencing things the whole time, like on some Peter Baelish stuff, on some Littlefinger stuff, like really causing the whole thing to happen, like Peter Baelish did in Game of Thrones, caused everything to happen. So I feel like that would have really made Dev's character different. Like I feel like it would have been doable to really like have him just be the Archbishop. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think it would have been that complicated. And it just, yeah, there's just a few things. And then this is our first time even seeing Varney for real, for real. This is our first time even seeing Varney. He claims, I've been in Dracula's court. Yeah, it just seemed like a couple of plot conveniences to why Varney's character existed.
I was a member of Dracula's court. He sent me to Targovishta, a city he destroyed, and he told me to give it to him, even though it would have been so much easier to send me to small villages to kill more humans. I'm just in charge of Targovishta for some reason.
Yeah, it just, yeah. I think they wrote themselves into a hole with that, and so they could have gone about it differently. But otherwise, I really enjoyed Castlevania. Season 4 was very, very enjoyable to watch. Some of the best action sequences, team ups you will ever see, especially like when they fight Dragon's little generals and then he fights. That whole fight scene was just, oh my gosh.
I'm not usually a fan of like it's so fast you can't catch the movement. Like an analogy would be in the newest My Hero movie, or well, that's gonna be outdated soon. The second My Hero movie where Deku and Bakugo team up against the main villain 9, and it's like one of those speed blitz fights. I'm not usually a fan of those because it's just like an excuse to do just it's fast lines hitting other fast lines.
Like, because honestly, like, listen, I might get flack for this, but that's what Fate does. They just make a lot of their moves are just flashy lights.
Yeah, but I do appreciate that in Castlevania, they take that little extra step where even though it's really fast, you can still tell somewhat of the action that's happening. This is very subjective for me, but I just hope that I saw more of the action rather than just like, oh, look how fast they are. It makes sense. I just want to see more.
I think the only part, I feel like the fights were easy to follow, but the only part where it got really fast was when all three of them were fighting Dragon.
Yeah, that was it. That was the only part. That was what I.
Yeah, like that. The very beginning part of that fight was like a little. It was a clusterfuck. I'm not gonna lie. Like when you just see them all like that. It was a beautiful camera shot, but it was like a lot to follow. Then you suddenly see lightning and Dagon's twirling lightning and. Yeah, like it's a lot's going on in that, but it was still really, really good overall. And like the finishing stuff was amazing. Sypha, okay, real quick. We just need to talk about Sypha real quick. I don't think we really talk about her much.
Oh, well, actually, yeah, this is actually a good segue. Since we went through an hour and 40 minutes of critiques, let's just spend the rest of this time of how we're not toxic and how we really do love the show.
Yeah. Okay, Sypha, first of all, again, that's Avatar Sypha, okay? But watching her growth as a person and also her magic has been like insane. Like the stuff that she does in season 1 compared to the stuff she can do in season 4, absolutely insane. Especially when she had like the lightning orbs floating around her and then the fire and ice spears. That was so cool. Oh my god.
She was pregnant in season 4.
And she was pregnant during all of that.
Like it honestly just gave me flashbacks to Port Gazdi Rouge. It's like this woman who is pregnant and she's just like, nope, I'm gonna do the right thing. It's like, yeah, love stories like that.
Yeah, and like I honestly laughed when Sypha cussed for the first time ever. And then Trevor's like, huh? No, she's like, shit. Yeah, like that was high pitched, but she's like, shit. And she's like, fuck. And then Trevor was like, what? Wait, what did you say? And you know, it's a really, really rough situation. It like shit is real if Sypha cusses.
And she looks at you angrily and blames you with the wall of fire behind her.
Oh, you remember when she did like the water saw? Like the ice saw?
Yeah,
That was so cool.
raindrops.
Bro, Katara been real quiet ever since Sypha did that.
Yeah. God, just taking the individual raindrops and forming a fucking Beyblade. Ah!
Bruh, yeah, again, Katara been real quiet ever since Sypha did that.
Damn, who else do we really love? I think we mentioned it. Dracula and Lisa, they finally got their happy ending.
Ooh, you know who we needed to talk about just for him alone?
Hector,
Um,
random minion number 3 in Dracula's inner court.
anyway, so Isaac.
Yeah, so anyway, Ratko, the Russian dude.
Oh my gosh. No, Hector, okay, I really will say that Hector in season 4 was playing a little bit of chess because he was intending on getting out eventually.
He got
You
10
know?
points for being badass.
Yeah, like, I really like this scene though when Hector and Isaac finally met up and just them talking. Like, that speaks volumes about Isaac's character. But there's just so many things of Isaac that we could just talk about. Like, Isaac really is a goated character. Like, literally, Isaac backs must be hurting from how much he carried seasons 2 through 4. He carries seasons 2 through 4.
I don't want to say he carried season 2. Season 2
Okay.
basically like a very good establishment of his character.
Okay,
Season
you're right.
3, when he starts growing as a person, that's when I fell in love with him.
Oh, you're right. I mean, I already was fucking with him because, like, in season 2, bro, when he took care of God Brand like that, I was like, oh. So Isaac's loyal and he a real one. But, like, I will agree, though, like, season 3 is when, like, we really do dive into his character more. But, okay, we can say he carried 3 through 4.
Yeah, I was in love with mostly Dracula and Trevor and Alucard throughout all of season 2. They were my ends.
Yeah, but Isaac, like, there's just so many things I could talk about with Isaac, and Isaac is sassy too, and I love that.
Yes, especially with the captain in season 3 and season 4.
Isaac definitely has, I think, most of the best dialogue.
Yes, like it's hard to explain how excellent his writing is for his character development because at this point we would have we don't have time for this. Unfortunately, not even I have time for it. But we would have to break down every episode.
I could use an example. Just think of, I wouldn't say he's exactly like Zuko, but think of Zuko if he was Dracula. If Zuko worked for Dracula and then Carmilla was Azula and got, that's hard to explain, but okay. He goes from being one-dimensional to very three-dimensional.
He goes from one-dimensional to five-dimensional being.
Yeah, he transcends. He transcends, basically. No, here's a good thing. What's the most bland, basic character? Okay, and here. He goes from Admiral Zhao to General Iroh.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah, he goes from Admiral Zhao to Iroh. If that's a comparison you want to look at. I think that's a good one.
We really wanted to break down like the details, like the nitty-gritties, why it was so fucking good, both objectively and subjectively. We would have to break down quite literally 6 episodes from season 3 and like 3 episodes from season 4. We just don't have time for that.
And I think we forgot to talk about this a little bit. We'll squeeze it in, but like just some characters being dropped off in season 4. Because Morana and Striga kind of got dropped off after they saw Styria burning, and then we didn't get to see Isaac anymore after Isaac killed Carmilla. That pissed me off.
He shows up in he shows up in the last episode, and he has that little talk with Hector and Isaac. Like he's like, I have a purpose in life, and it's like and then he has that big old smile, and it's just like, I'm going to live, and I felt that smile.
I thought that was after.
I swore that was episode 10. Wasn't
No, that was beforehand after he killed Carmilla, I think. Like, because we
oh
no,
um
because when Lenore dies, that's and Hector is I don't forgot what Hector does, but Lenore dies, and then that's the last we see. We don't see
I
Isaac again because like Lenore references him and calls him King Isaac.
I swore there was something. Maybe I did get it wrong. Maybe I'm getting mixed up. But yeah, I like the Isaac's final scene is like it's so good because he has a big old smile and you feel that energy.
That smile was so wholesome.
And I think you can relate to this when he after that talk with the captain in season 3, he gets on the port and the soldiers are just like, you need to turn around. It's like, my ship has left. No, you need to leave. You are all so fucking rude.
I I felt that literally. I felt that. I'm like, bro, where is he going to go? Like, where can
Water.
he go?
He can swim.
Yeah, but I really felt Isaac when he said, "You're all so fucking rude." Like, I felt that. But yeah, thanks you for inviting me, even though like I think this was a clusterfuck because we were talking about everything, but it all worked out. You know, we got to our destination.
Yeah, like again, even though we spent like a good amount of time criticizing this entire series, this is the part where we're just going to say, guys, a lot of the issues they're not exactly terrible. It's just like, interesting. Plus, it'd be boring if we're just like if we turn to the yes man and woman. And it's just like, yeah, it's so good. I mean, it is really good. We're just pointing out, stuff that didn't work, and it's fine. It's all good because the season is fucking well, not the season. The whole show is just fucking fantastic. And
Very phenomenal. It was so refreshing to watch. And not only that too, but it's like, you notice things when you rewatch a series, and you'll notice things that don't make sense. Like when I was rewatching that and then Taka and Sumi talking about whatever, it just that whole thing just makes no sense. But like that tends to happen though with any show. You can go back and watch any show and you can notice some things that just didn't quite, make sense. No show can there is not a perfect series, besides the Yu Hakusho, of course.
yes, thank you. I was about to say that.
There's nothing's perfect in this world. But Castlevania is very enjoyable. It's an easy, fast watch, honestly, and you will not like have a dull moment for real, unless you're going through season 3 a little bit. But that's more exposition.
A lot of the issues that we covered only covered like what 8 to 10% of the whole show. The other 90%, it's fucking gold.
Yeah, I agree. Like literally 90% of the show, gas.
There's a reason why we love it. There's a reason why everyone who gives it a solid chance loves it. So good. It gives Trevor's a good name.
Listen, become a Castlevania stan today. Join the Castlevania witnesses.
Yes.
Get your life right.
Then join me as a member of the Toxic Brood. Walkins is a member too. Sweet Tea, you since you participated, you're a member too.
No, well, I did pitch that we could do a Star Wars tier list and roast Sasuke. So I mean, yeah, I guess I'm descending.
Yes, good. Soon you will be a gaseous form of hatred like us.
All right, Palpatine. Oh my gosh, the laugh.
But yeah, I guess that should be how we end it. Just on an evil laugh and Trevor's for the win. I think that's the perfect way to end it. How's that sound? Trevor's for the win.
Trevor's for the win. Yeah, and I guess if you don't mind me doing a shameless plug.
Oh my god! I am a terrible host. Yes, tell the people where they can find you.
So you can find me on my social medias on Twitter and Instagram at SweetT162. And then you can find me on YouTube at Sweet Tea. Just search up channels because I'm the third channel that pops up. And then I also just released a Castlevania review. That one's honestly, it was a very positive review. I didn't really talk about a lot of the criticisms for real, because I just want to talk about what I loved about it. And I talk about the criticisms a little bit, but it's not that much. But if you want me to really hype up season 4 and want to watch that awesome commentary, I recommend checking it out. Yes. And yeah, and subscribe to Trevor.
Oh no. But if you guys actually like me, then go ahead, do that. I recommend Sweet Tea first.
Oh.
She's really cool. Now, I haven't seen, and since I can't end on a mushy note, her content is so lit. The last time I saw something that lit was a magma fist in an ace's body.
Oh my gosh! Why would you say that?
Because it's
Trevor!
Castlevania, we have to end it on a dark manner.
Damn you, Notmont.
The toxic brood wins.